Hello and welcome to the first episode of Parenting Fatherless Girls with Esther Moloku. Yeah, this is the first episode, and I'm super excited to welcome you to this very wonderful episode. All right, so tonight we'll be looking at how fatherlessness affected me as a girl. Yes, I've shared this story over and over again, but I'm super excited to share it with us in this podcast. So growing up, I didn't have I didn't have the opportunity to live with my father. Yes, so the parenting and everything was done by my mom and my extended family, my uncles and my aunts. Yes, so they were the family I have, and they were the people, that was there for me growing up. However, I wouldn't say that they really played that role of a father, because the truth of the matter is nothing replaces the place of a father in the heart of a girl. So even as growing up was kind of tough, yes. So growing up was kind of tough, and I am here to share a few things that I struggled with growing up as a girl without father involvement, and how you as a parent, especially as a mom, can step into that space and begin to find a way around your daughter's existence or your daughter's struggle. Yes. So growing up, I am, or you will refer me as one of those girls that they are usually tagged as bastard. Yes. So my mom, took took in um as a result of relationship, teenage relationship, and one thing led to another, pregnancy came, and the result of the pregnancy, it's me. So since then, I haven't been able to set my eyes on my dad, and so many stories have been going around about it, but I don't think I want to share that tonight. All right, so growing up, I had to struggle with some certain things. And one of those things is having to call someone my dad. You get. So it was just recently that I began, to call people, or, kindly. It was this recently that, I have the courage to call mom and dad. Yes. So you may be wondering, okay, so you live with your mom. Why would that be difficult for you to call mom? So growing up, my mom, kind of wasn't that proud that she had a girl or a child before the proper marriage, right? So I was meant to be calling her auntie. So each time I lived with her almost all the period of my teenagehood. So even as a child, yes, to some extent. So all those while, so I was asked to she asked me to be calling her auntie. So of course I started calling her auntie. So even people around felt that, okay, this is your sister, this is your big sister, something like that. So you just feel that knew that, this woman, this is her daughter, just few people. So because of that, it kind of widened the the gap between myself and her, because I mean there should be a relationship first, right? So when you're hiding me from people, what do you expect? A distant relationship. So that was the first instance. So calling daddy, of although I lived with, at a point my mother had to remarried. So although I she remarried, I wasn't able to even call my stepfather a father or dad. No. I used to call him, or I called him brother at that point. So it was just like that. And even with my uncles, that was also what I was calling them. So it was that kind of stuff. Yeah. So because of that, growing up, I didn't really have this mindset of, having someone, you know, to call a father. And the gap was just there. It was just void, open so wide. All right. So, but then there's this set of kids that we are living with, almost like a neighbor, yes. So, they have their father always coming, yeah, daddy, 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 this kind of thing. So I remember during one of those Christmas, the dad will, during Christmas times, it was a lifestyle for him. So during the Christmas, the man will just give them and some amount of money and ask them to go into the market and get something. And then you see them bring those things, and you're just wishing, like, I wish I live with my parents, I live with my mom, my dad, everything is just fine, and we are just fine, those kind of things. So it was out of, yes, gosh, it was out of, yeah. So, but then, it was just it at a point, I just zeroed my mind that anything that should just be by the side. So all the while I've been hearing stories and upon stories and stories and stories, but I was like, why can't this guy just show up one day and say, at least, oh, come on, look at me, I'm your father, something like that. But then, yeah, we keep rolling. All right, so tonight we are discussing how father would affected me as a child. Yeah, as a girl, it actually affected me in some ways, and yeah, in some ways, and but not to that extent. Okay, so maybe because I, God helped me to give my life. I gave my life to Christ as a teenager, and probably God helped me through that. And in fact, it is my savior, because left for that, the level of void that rose up as a teenage girl had have every capacity to push me, into so many things I would have been regretting by today. All right, so let me start with this. Growing up, even according to statistics, it has been discovered that girls who are given birth out of wedlock, which I am a product of, you know, eventually struggle with, anything sex involvement, and at some point they even end up repeating same pattern. So that was the case. One of the things I struggle with was struggle with rape. Yes, in fact, if I should count the attempts of rape in my life, it should be more than five. It should be more than five. Yes, it should be more than five. Yes, because it was just back to back, right? So when I was living with my mom as a teen girl, I at a point I wanted to be raped by one of our family compound, what's it called, neighbor, I've forgotten, neighbors, and it was God that saved. In fact, he eventually told one of my um in-law's son that each time he makes attempts to me, that this force that always pull him back. You get. So that's number one. So eventually, I moved away from him to, being almost being raped by a father figure, someone that I felt, okay, eventually this person has, stepped into that space. And I just love this man as a father to me. But then, something like that also came up. And then another person, another person is a kind of a man of God. Oh God, is kind of a man of God. So, yeah. So from him, then moved down to Lagos after my WAEC, and then this one was near death attempt. Like, it was just the mercy of God, because this guy have already put out everything, and what just remaining is for him to just start a very act when I was worked by God, you know. So it was one thing that the pattern was eventually trying to repeat itself, but God was just there for me. In fact, there is this one, he was a pastor. So one day he met me and was like, Uche, that's my native name. So he said, Uche, that God said he should tell me if others are doing things and they are going scot free, that I will never go scot free. Yes, so whatever it is that others are doing, I should never attempt doing the same. You know when God is giving you some, you know when God is giving you a warning like that, you already know what is happening. At that point, I was in a range of a relationship where God just helped me to break off, off from. So it was a battle at that point, but God showed up. Yes. So that was one thing because I mean, I was looking for this love, I was looking for this attention, I was looking for this care, and that is one thing that teenage or girls with fatherhood of with fatherless girls struggle with. They struggle with they desire to be loved, desire to be desire to be attended to, desire to be cared for, desire for affirmation and all that. So that was actually what I was looking for, even to those pastors I know I made part of my life. So it was one thing I struggled with. So the next thing I struggled with myself self esteem. Yes, just like I said, growing up, it wasn't easy on my mom. So because of that, most of the time, I'm always at the receiving end. I wasn't at the receiving end of her, her struggle and everything. And trust me, I see her struggle with a lot as a mom who has children. Even at a point, my stepfather died, so she was also left to cater for her children alone. You get, so the struggle and everything, was just on her, and I could see her struggle through all these things, and kind of I was at the receiving end of it because at that point I am the older person within my in the midst of my stepbrothers and sisters. So I was just the older person and I was just at the receiving end of everything. So because of that, so much cussy words, so much, things said, and so much I mean, I was beaten into fear. If there's anything like that, I mean, I would literally be afraid if you are talking to me, looking into my eye. I would just start shivering. I mean, over and over, people will tell me something like, "Come on, why are you afraid? I'm talking to you and you are afraid." Something like that. So I was literally beaten into fear. If someone had to meet my mom one day, I tell her that she should just stop beating me. Okay, so it was that terrible. So everything, made me to struggle with my self esteem, my self concept, my self worth. I felt that I am nothing. In fact, even before I got married, I was, having this counseling session with, a family friend, and I was just telling him I felt like nothing. I felt like I'm useless. I felt like nothing good will ever come out of me. I was just, pouring out myself, my heart to him. It was exactly how I was feeling at a point. So I struggled a whole lot with my self-esteem, with my self-confidence, with just everything because aside from the fact that there was no father to offend me, there was no father to be there to guide or just to teach me. There's this quote that said, if a mother compliments the daughter, is a compliment, is a male compliment, but if that child hears it from the father, is an identity. So I wasn't able to build that identity around a very strong foundation, right? So it was just that I struggled a whole lot with my self confidence, and I mean it was a whole lot of struggle. Yes. So until self development and everything started coming in and all that. So that was it. I struggled a whole lot with my self confidence, self esteem, and then aside from my father's involvement, my mother wasn't also helping issue. And this is one of the problem that some mothers have because I mean, no, I'm not blaming you. I'm not blaming them. No, 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 no. I am not. Because most of the time the burden is too much on them. So that is one of the things single mothers who is parenting single mothers or mothers who are parenting without father involvement really need to look out for, because they don't want that child to carry a burden or a baggage that that she has gotten from the father lack of involvement. When someone is not involved, and then you are in psychology they call it transference of aggression, right? So you don't want to make that child feel like he's the genesis of all the problems. I mean, that is one of the things that moms struggle with, especially those who are parenting, fatherless girls. So sometimes they make children feel like you're the genesis of my problems. Okay, so that is it. And then another thing I also struggle with, and maybe I should categorize it on that the self-esteem. Yes, so I saw my mom struggle with fear. Fear that's what happened to her will happen to me. I say I struggle. So I remember there is one camp like that. It's not even a camp. It was an SU Scripture Union meeting. So I went, I came back, and she was like, "You, so you started following men, those kind of thing." And before you know it, she started giving me an instance of a girl who will, leave the girl who will just go without telling the auntie, leaving the auntie's children, and then she was just giving her all those narratives. Mm, it was a whole lot actually. It was a whole lot actually, but yeah, it's just like I said, the genesis of it all is that God helped me. Yes. And because, probably because God also helped me to give my life to Christ. So I was kind of afraid to try some things. I was kind of afraid to try some things. I mean, I was kind of afraid to try something. So it was just it. And I think we should be ending it here. Yes. I think we should be ending it here. Next week, Wednesday, we'll be looking at another topic, and we'll be, doing that with one of our amazing guests. You don't want to miss that. The meeting we'll be having tomorrow, next week, yes, next week. So do have amazing, amazing day, and God bless you for coming by. Remember, here we talk about how you will help your girls, how you will parent your fatherless girls to become everything that God have destined them to be. See you in the next episode, and do have a great day. Bye.